sure if this is
Yeah,
correct,
it's fine.
but I just added a table.
Okay. Let's see. Create table booking links, usually plural form.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the database, it's usually plural. And UUID as primary key. Have you tried to run it? Like it builds the table? I mean, then you can check the database.
Yeah, I haven't.
Well, let's go through it first. Okay.
Okay.
So UUID. Okay. I'm not sure
The
if
link.
UUID is a reserved word or not. Oh, you can use it. I mean, why is big int?
This is I'm trying to use user ID, but I saw is
No, this is gonna be like a 8 letter, so it's gonna be a string. Like
user ID.
varchar. No. UUID, like second line.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It,
Oh, okay.
it's
Got
gonna
it.
be Pen, how long is it? 8? 8. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got the wrong
So
idea. Okay. Yeah.
UUID is the primary key, 8 character owner. Owner you need to have okay. Owner is also string, right?
Yes. Owner's
Yeah,
username.
check as the table. Are you able to see database?
Yes.
We should
should
look at
be.
the other table. Yeah. Maybe notes. Maybe just notes. Yeah, it's fine. Open it. No, not this one.
Not this.
Expand it. Expand the left arrow.
Oh.
Yes. And the column. Expand the column. You have 10 column. And I cannot see the schema. Does it? Yeah, this is owner, but I cannot see the schema. Oh, actually, it's here. Varchar. You see, varchar 100.
Yeah.
Not now.
Okay.
Also not now. Yeah. And are you able to see the schema for the nodes? Okay, let me check in the meantime. Okay, Peng, you take a look. Let me check the database in the meantime. I just want to make sure you are doing the right thing.
Okay.
Okay. So for owner, we don't have. You notice that we don't have a foreign key. It's fine. The username basically is unique, so we are not gonna have a foreign key. It's just string for us. Yeah, I guess this practice your database skill.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
is good actually. It's good exercise. So owner varchar 100, not now, which is correct. UUID primary key. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. Why are we storing start date, end date?
What about time zone?
We are not storing the start date and the date. Are we? Okay, we are storing the string. Yeah. Also, I mean, you should look at the note, right? Note how does maybe task actually maybe task, how it stores things, right? That should give you some reference.
End time.
Check. What are we storing the date for? Date start date end date for?
Just for reference, but I guess if the slots include that information, so
yeah, start date, end date. Start date of I'm looking at the database of a table of tasks. So we have a due date, which is varchar 15. I think 15 is enough because it's YYYMMDD, right? So
right.
15 char. And the date is 15 char. Also, yeah, like Pen said, you need to have time zone, right?
Time zone. Okay.
Time zone. Here, what we put there is varchar 255. I guess we can leave it now if in case. I mean, sometimes we don't send the time zone because if we don't need it, we don't send time zone. Okay, slot span makes sense. Okay, slots. I don't think that's
an array.
So first we need to have two kind of slots, right? One is for user to turn on, one is for user to turn off. And it's supposed to be integer array, right? Are you sure your right is correct? Let me check how it's written.
Slots a
Label is big int array. Yeah, maybe int array for
okay.
the slot. But the thing is, we need a two field, right? One is to explicitly mark something as on. One is to explicitly mark
Right.
off. By the way, where do
Okay.
you have a red error? Is it normal?
I think it's normal. It happens for all of
Okay.
the data, the
Okay.
SQL file.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess in slots we're storing the index then? We're not storing, because I thought in the database we'll be storing the explicit date and time.
No, slots is index based, right? You
Okay.
basically cut the 24-hour into slots, right?
Right.
So if you have a date and then it have time zone, you know which date and send the slot. I don't know. Pen, what do you have for the name, or do you haven't designed that?
I don't have that. I it's a person slot.
I mean for the on and off. I don't know if that's better name. Slots on, slots off. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I'm just trying to envision in your entity class, you have like slots on, slots off, get slots on, get slots off. They're just trying to think of the naming.
Why not
Yeah.
get one?
Sorry, what?
Why we need two? Like slot one and slot. We just need one. Is that enough?
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean,
The multiple slot, right? If I have let's say I have a day. I mean, if you look at 24 hours, right? The user may mark some slot as on and then mark some slot as turn it off, right?
yes.
I mean,
But
if I want to explicitly turn on some slot for booking, even though I have a task, right? Even though I already have a task. Are you asking why do we have on or off, or what's your question actually?
I mean, if we have off and the other time will be on.
It's either on and off.
No, the thing is when you apply the rule, right? So first we'll check our
Right.
existing task, right? So we will mark those as off, right? But let's say you don't want to explicitly mark those as off and you want to turn it on. So we need to basically go against that, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I mean, on and off, they should be exclusive. If you flip something, I mean, let's say, so basically when we later write the code, whatever we put inside the slots on, we should remove it from slots off if it has it. Whatever we put in slots off, if we need to check slots on has it, we need to remove it. So we need to have API for user to, I'm envisioning in the future, when you add API, you need to have two API. One is basically turn on. I think it's just single call every time, just single call. No need for batch call. Just one slot at a time to turn it on and or off. Maybe you can just use one API, use the Boolean like on or off. The front end will basically send
Okay.
it, but the back end will basically check both column. So you are saying we don't need a two column. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean logically, the reason we have on is, let's say you have some default off, like you have a recurring rule or you have an existing task. You want to purposely mark it as on, right? So you needed the slots on. And for slots off is basically you let's say you have 24-hour all open, but you want to explicitly mark it off, right? Some slots off. Let's say I don't want to be wake up booked in midnight, right? Right. So you want to explicitly mark it off, right? So I guess you need a two. You need a two column. Otherwise, how do you deal with that? Unless you can figure out how to do that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. I think.
Yeah, I mean you have to have two column to deal with this. This two column is for user to explicitly mark a slot as on or off, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot get rid of it because our logic in the end will first mark your existing task, the corresponding slot as off. Second step is if you have a recurring rule to disable some slot, mark it as off. Then basically we use the slots on to mark those as on, right? So that means user explicitly turn it on, right? By sending a request. And then use the slots off to mark some slot as off, right? That's our whole logic. I mean, yeah, slots on and slots off are exclusive. They cannot be together. Of course, you can do other way, like maybe you can make it just a JSON blob. You understand what I'm saying, right? To store as a JSON blob for slots on, slots off, and as one column. That's also doable. Either way is fine.
What type of slots would not be in either one of these columns?
So you're talking either, when you say either, you mean these two columns, slots on, slots off?
Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
we have two columns, one for slot on, one for slot off. What type of slot would not be in any of those two columns?
Why do you say?
So
What I said about JSON blob is another way to design this is to merge slots on and off as a string column, maybe a string column, and using a JSON, right? Like JSON data, and the JSON can have two keys. The first key is slots on, and the second key is slots off, and inside just still integer array, right? So it's more flexible, but the bad thing is you have to load the whole JSON blob, manipulate the JSON, and serialize it and save it into the database, right?
right.
With this integer array column, you can do just like a subtract or just addition. I haven't tried it before, but I think it's doable.
Oh, okay. I think I remember now.
Yeah, you can just directly like remove an integer like a minus. You need to figure out how to do it in Postgres. Anyway, we can revisit it later. Let's go with this for now. We can always change code, right? Yeah. For now, I mean, if in the later when we develop code, we found like this two column doesn't make sense, we can always change it. Okay. Let's not settle for now. Let's do iterative. Okay. Invite email, which is good. I'm just wondering where you're storing the name for invitees. So first, if you're talking about invitee emails,
right.
I'm just wondering, I mean, for our scenario, the first should we ask require if you look at the UI front end, right? I think some interface require input. I think it would be nice to force them to put a name and also phone number. Phone number as well, because sometimes the phone number can be exclusive, so it can be like optional. But email, username, first name, last name of the invitee should be there. At least one, right? So you need to think about this. If you think we can just use a JSON blob for this, maybe it's fine. Let's UI do this. We can also do this invitees as a JSON blob. No, not a DB. Yeah, I mean DB because it's too complicated, right? Maybe JSON blob is the thing. What I'm thinking is one user is mandatory, but one user is mandatory, right? First name, last name. Phone number is optional. But second user, maybe, I mean, let's say I want to add a guest, right? So the second user or like etc. can be optional. So I think it's better just using a whole JSON blob for all the invitees. So here your invitee line 10. So you basically don't have a specific schema on line 10. Change it to invitees. But in our code, we do need to structure it. Just change it to the type to be text. So it would be a JSON blob. Yeah, it's more flexible. I haven't text, not text array, just text.
Okay, I see.
Yes, that's the same thing I was thinking for maybe slots on, slots off. I mean, basically, I'm not saying to do that. I mean, it's also an option for slots on and slots off to merge those two as a text. Text is basically same as far chart, but it's 1 GB memory limit. So basically, it's the biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I mean, we don't know how big it. I mean, it should not be that big. If you put like a Facha 1000, that should work. I mean, but never mind. I mean, let's not save disk space for this now.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking, you definitely need to have the first name, last name, for the and the email mandatory for invitee. But we can do that at the UI side, right? I mean, or in the code. I mean, when you build, you definitely need a class, right?
Right.
But a phone number. But we also need allow user to. I mean, if let's say I want to book you, right? I want to book you, but I want to add as a guest, right? So I can add email address to it, right? So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So the guest doesn't need first name, last name? Oh, they also
Yeah,
need it, right?
I'm thinking optional. What do you guys think, Pen? I mean, I think it's optional. I mean, you can add guest or not. I mean, when you add guest, that you can just simply add email if you don't want to specify first name, last name. I think it's optional, but definitely the main guy has to have. I know who to call, right? I need to know who to contact, right?
Right.
And also when we display this thing, we need to show it. Like we probably need to send an email, right? And also, I mean, send an email to like whoever joined, right? Yeah, but we can think about this later, okay? When you design this, that's why I make it a text, so it's more because we are not sure about the schema, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
it's more flexible if we change it. Created at, let me check that. Created at, I think you should timestamp not now. Why it's without time zone? I think that's the syntax. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just remove without the time zone. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Think for good for now. I would suggest you to run it later and end the date. And the day or end the date. Should we use day or date? Pen,
I
what do you
think.
think?
And
Start
they
day or end day?
Wait, hold on.
and
Do that later.
Huh?
so we save the start date and date as a string in the database, right?
Yeah, just the name. I mean, start date or start day. DAY.
Yeah.
Which one make more sense?
DATE, I think is good.
What did you put as parameter in your interface? In your request?
You mean in the params?
In your API. In your API, yeah.
Yes, I put it in the params. Create
Yeah, what do you name it? Do you call it date or day?
date, get end date, start date.
Okay, the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So potato cat. So next, write entity class and repository. Do you know
Okay.
where it is? The code?
Yeah.
You already have some kind of repository.
I added the file, but I don't have the entity yet.
No need for DAO. I think your first check is just add a repository
Okay.
and the entity class in the model.
I see.
Yeah, just no need for DAO for now. Just the model and like a booking. I think it's called booking. Booking link or booking. Okay, maybe the class name is not Pearl. Yeah, maybe the class name is not. Yeah.
Okay.
Booking link,
Makes
which
sense.
is right, repository and the booking link in the model. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Pen, your turn.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
If you have a question, you can bring it up. Okay. Anyone have a question from the database thing? Okay. Okay, let's look at the Pen's. Yeah. Everyone's done it. It's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So in the API side, I create book links and I get the params. But one thing I'm wondering is that
So we already finished create a booking link params, right? Last time.
Yes.
Oh, can you go there just one more check? I think you forgot the buffer in minute. Okay, potato cat, you need to add this buffer.
Buffer in.
Buffer in minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we forgot to add it. Basically, it means like how many minutes you want to buffer. Like I mentioned it before, right? You understand what it
Mhm.
means?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to add that as well. Yeah, default to 0. I mean, okay. Yeah, okay. Pen, what do you have now?
Yes, I have this params, query params, booking link params, and the model.
No, this one looks fine. Let's look at the code. Yeah, the last file, the third file here. So what are you doing on line 38? Oh, okay. Let's look at the booking link as this model, right?
Yes, booking links. Booking links. I put the end time.
Let's go through it.
8.
Go up,
Yeah.
go up, go up,
Okay.
go up, go up. I just need to look at the field. By the way, you need to format this and then remove those. Make sure you pass Gradle build, okay?
Okay.
UUID. Oh, I think a potato cat, you're missing something, right? Those Boolean you didn't add, right?
For the
Yeah.
include tests. Oh, right. The duration.
Start time, end time.
Timestamp. I mean.
I think so. First, it's not gonna be a timestamp. Look at line 11. Timestamp is something in SQL, right? You are writing the controller model, which is for presentation layer. So definitely, you won't use any Java.SQL dot timestamp in the front end. Okay, never do that.
Oh,
Remove those unused class. Okay, before you check in. Okay.
this one.
So I'm just thinking like when front end got this, yeah, I think it should just be string. Yeah. When front end gets this.
So this timestamp will be used in the repository level. I mean,
Nobody's gonna generate a timestamp. Why do you think there's gonna be timestamp? How how do you know the timestamp? I mean, how do you know the beginning of the date? I mean, the front end can take whatever local time. I mean, when you talk about timestamp, it's related to a specific time zone, and you don't know the browser is sitting on which time zone. So anyway, I would expect the front end just display the string and with the specific time zone. That's easier. Anyway, we may revisit this later. Yeah.
You don't need it, right? Just
what this is for your calculation. No. The start time and end time here is not used to save in database. It's more like for query. I mean later we will remember I just mentioned that we do 4 steps, right?
Hmm.
So we need to grab a time range. Let's say we need to grab the time range in between start time and end time. What task does the user have, right?
Oh, okay.
Got it? Yeah, this is not used for display purpose, okay? Got it? So this start time and end time, you can keep it unused for now, but it's used for potato cat probably knows this, right? You know, right? Basically, you're gonna use the start time and end time to query database. First, we need to find out which task existing in this time range, right? Including recurring task as well. Okay, we do have a recurring task. So anyway, Pen, can we go back to the first file? We're not done.
This one.
Yeah, the invitees. You need to build a class for invitee. Like I mentioned, every invitee should have. Yeah, I mean, we need another class for invitees.
Another model.
Let's finish it all. Let's then we can look. So potato cat, definitely you are missing the 2 boolean here, so you need to add it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Buffering minute. Okay, I think all this parameter. Yeah, you can fix the parameter later. Okay, let's look at the parameter invitee for now. Do we need a class or right now we don't know, right? I mean, when you return the booking links, we need to show who is attending. You show the owner. Yeah. We probably need to know the primary guy. Oh. I'm still thinking like I'm still thinking about the Mm. But wait. Pen. Did when we return the booking link, slots on and slots off are also explicitly set by the user. We also need to return the slot itself. That is actually the calculation, right? Slot.
But
We need a slot class actually. Remember?
slot class. Okay. You
Yeah,
mean
array of slot class, I think, or list of slot class.
slot
I think I
class?
mentioned that last time. Yeah. So that's calculated like in the controller, right? You need to calculate the slot, right? I mean the slot in 24-hour, right? If it's 60 minutes, then you have 24 slot, right?
Yes.
Right. So if it's half an hour, then it's 120 slots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each slot have like on or off, Boolean on or off, right? Boolean on or off, and the index, right? For now, that's it, right? For now, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you do need a slot class. I feel we're generating a lot of class nowadays. You can just call it booking slot. Otherwise, the slot is too general. I mean, the class name called booking slot.
Booking slot. Booking slots.
Otherwise too general. Yeah. B
Okay.
should be capitalized. Okay. B booking slot. Okay.
Wait.
I'm still thinking about one last thing is the invitee on line 25. No, not this one. Pen. Hold on. I'm talking about you need to add another class and then it's another list of slot.
So we calculated.
And also in the front end, better to make it a list instead of array, okay? It's easier. Like line, what I'm saying is for 36 list of integer. Don't use integer array, okay?
Uh,
It's easier. List L, pick capitalized. Okay, integer. Yeah. Import it. Import the list. Just hover it over and it'll hover over, it will. Okay. You'll figure it out later, okay? It's you need to just you just need to import this. Yeah, okay. What I'm saying, you need to add another list of booking slot, like called slots. I mean, then front end doesn't want to do the calculation, right? They need to. So particularly, do we still need to have the list of integer slots on or off?
I think we can.
Like we don't need to return that, right? You have it in the database, but when we return the booking link, the user doesn't.
Oh,
The user only see like a list or array of slots, right, on and off. And then if user want to explicitly mark something on or off, it's another API call to the controller, and you just deal with it in the database, right? So I think we don't need to return those two.
okay.
Slots on, slots off. We don't need to return it. I
So
mean, we don't have to memorize it. This is like a underlying in database, but when you return the slot, it's actually a series of slots after calculation. So do you get what I'm saying?
So I mean, in the controller, when you
Can you just do it? Can you just in the models package, right click, add a class booking slot?
in this one?
Create a new class, booking slot. No, not in prem, not in prem. In models, yeah. Booking slot. Booking
slot.
Okay. Okay, go back to leave it for now. Go back to this booking link. Remove lines 37, 38. Remove these two things. Yeah, we don't need those. Change it to private. Private list. Booking slot.
Booking.
As I mentioned, right, the front end model doesn't need to match the backend. just call it slots. It's easier.
Slot.
Slots, yeah. You are already under booking. Okay, we know it's booking slots. Okay, because you are in the booking class, right? Okay. You can go to booking slot. So add a boolean on. Go to booking. Yeah. So you need a boolean, private boolean. Yeah, boolean on. Is on. Okay, just on. Wait. Is on.
And off. No, it's
Huh?
a booking.
And get on. Get is on. Just call it is on. Okay. Because when you generate the get setter, just make sure the get setter makes sense when you generate it. The other thing is the index, right? Integer, private int.
Int.
In index, right? Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
will be for it's
The
a
variable name is called index.
index.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just generate the get setter later. Okay. Go back to the booking link. So the last thing I haven't figured out is the invites.
Mantis. Okay.
Potato Cat, what do you think?
I think it would probably be easier if we have a class because
We should have a class, and you can also use that for JSON serialization, right?
okay, I need to look up how that works, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think so.
for JSON serialization, it's just a POJO class. Okay. For
Oh,
now,
okay.
you don't have to worry about the JSON serialization, but yeah, we should have a class. We can use that for DB serialization as well.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not a time to figure out how to use JSON, but more like what do we need to put in this class. So first, the class is more like having an array inside, right?
Slots.
What?
No, I just
So first, I mean, like a potato cat just written, right? You need to have email, phone, and stuff. For now, she doesn't need to worry about it for now, but you need to worry about it. But she can use it once you finish that. So that's why I said you guys should sync up, because you do have some something need to be shared. Okay, yeah, define a class. In this class, you should have so basically you need to have a class called. I'll just hear what I'm saying. Okay, you don't need to write. So I think you should have an invitees class. Inside you have a list of invitee, and the invitee class should have first name, last name, email, phone number, right? Yeah, you can work on this later. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just polish it later. But the thing is, we know that the first invitee, the first name and last name is required, right? Emails is also always required. So you should have not now for email address. Yeah, but for phone number is always optional. Email is definitely we require it. The other thing is, yeah, I mean, first name, last name. We're still thinking about it. Okay, let's leave it at now. So let's talk about what's left. So Peng, definitely you need to go back polish those. Okay.
okay.
If you have a question, you can ask and go to the third file. You need to have another API for get. Right now you only have
Great.
create, right? You need another public like returning a booking link. That is like a get, right? Get. Yeah. Yeah, do it later, okay? Okay.
Okay.
So you need another method called get booking links, right? Get a booking link, right? And in line 35, remove that. You don't need to do that. How you get a booking link is called a method in line 42.
42. Okay, I mean it's a
Right now, I'm not expecting you to implement anything. So line 35, you don't have to do it. Line 35. You can remove line 35. And it's not looking right anyway.
Okay.
We need some logic to deal with that, okay? you need another method like a get booking link with appropriate parameter, and actually in the line 38, call your new method. Okay, call your second method. Okay.
Oh, you mean
You understand what I'm saying?
I need a function?
Okay. Anyway, first finish the second API definition. Okay.
Okay.
This method return a booking link, right?
Booking links.
So
Yes.
this API is trying to get a single booking link. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, the method name can call like a get booking link. Okay.
Booking link.
You need other parameter like UUID, but add those later. Okay.
Okay.
You probably need to define the API path as well.
It's not. I mean, it's.
What am I trying to do?
You mean it's a API call?
Get.
Get.
No, by default it's just 200. Just remove the status. Don't need it. Remove line 42. Okay, just take a look at how other get API works. Okay.
Okay.
I think
I mean,
you need to really make sure you understand those. I mean, these are very basic things.
Okay.
So here, remove line 35, 36.
So we don't need to
We'll
generate.
deal with this later. It's not like what you written. We won't be using it.
Okay.
And in line 37,
Yes.
36, change it to get booking link.
Get booking links. Kind of like that.
Yeah, you need more parameter later. Okay.
Yeah.
So finish the get API and pass the appropriate UID and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is it's a controller get method, and this can be used, or just we don't need this one.
I don't understand your question.
Okay.
I guess you can you first do first finish the definition of line 39?
This one. Okay.
Do you need help?
Oh, you mean that?
Do you need help define the API?
Let me look at the other one.
Or
Yeah.
do you want to chime in?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know how to do this?
The endpoints.
Yeah, I mean, I think Peng is having some trouble. You have more time nowadays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you work with him helping him basically?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So first, this API need to be, by the way, then I'll add more information here, okay? So first, this API need to be under public because this is public API. And I think, okay, let me double check this. Let me share my screen, okay? Give me a sec. Okay, give me a sec. Can you stop sharing? I don't know if I should say a lot of things in one meeting or should I wait for you guys? But okay, I don't have. Let me turn off this recording.